Test. Good evening. I'd like to call to order the Tuesday, March 8th, 2022 meeting of the Danville Public Works Committee to order. Roll call, please.
Alderman Michael Kane.
It's loud, isn't it?
Brenda Brown.
Present.
Bob Iverson.
Here.
Jim Pashard.
Present.
Carolyn Wands.
Present.
Heidi Wilson.
Present.
Chairman Mike Poor.
Present.
7 present.
7 present. Thank you, everybody, for coming. Is this a lot? Are you hearing feedback back there?
Yeah.
Okay.
Gonna turn off mic. There you go.
Item number 2 is the approval of the minutes. These will be from the February 8th, 2022 meeting. If there's no corrections, need a motion to approve, please.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Item number 3 is approve the agenda. There are no deletions from the agenda, so would need a motion to approve.
Move to approve.
Yeah, second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, moving on to audience comments. Madam Clerk, do we have any audience comments?
Did anyone wish to speak this evening? Okay, evidently not.
Okay, my goodness, we may set a record here. Item number 5, Chairman's comments. Just please continue to keep in your prayers the people of Ukraine as this atrocity continues. Don't understand. First time since World War II we've had such an invasion, and doesn't look like it's going to end soon. So please keep them in your prayers. Thank you. Moving on to item number 6, we do have the payrolls. Those would be from the March 4th, 2022 run. Need a motion to put those on the table, please.
So moved.
Second.
Any questions? Okay, roll call, please.
Alderman Brown.
Yes.
Iverson.
Yes.
Pashard.
Yes.
Wands.
Yes.
Wilson.
Yes.
O'Kane.
Yes.
Poor.
Yes.
7 yes.
7 yes, thank you. Item number 7 is approval of the vouchers payable. These will be from the March 8th, 2022 run. Need a motion to put that on the table, please.
Move to approve. Second.
Questions on the payables? Okay, seeing none, roll call, please.
Alderman Iverson.
Yes.
Pashard.
Yes.
Wands.
Yes.
Sorry, I couldn't hear you. Wilson.
Yes.
O'Kane.
Yes.
Brown.
Yes.
Poor.
Yes.
7 yes.
7 yes, thank you. Moving on to public transportation, item 8, Director Beeth is not here. But 8A is a resolution. Yeah, Petro's here to answer questions. So 8A is a resolution authorizing the filing of application with the FTA for federal transportation assistance. Need a motion to put that on the table, please.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay. Petro, what do you think?
All right. And all that is the resolution is so we comply with all FTA rules. And we follow all the guidelines.
We do this every year, right?
Yep, we
Yeah.
do it every year. Exactly.
Any questions? Okay, roll call, please.
Alderman Pashard.
Yes.
Wands.
Yes.
Wilson.
Yes.
O'Kane.
Yes.
Brown.
Yes.
Iverson.
Yes.
Poor.
Yes.
7 yes.
7 yes, thank you. 8B, items of information. Just as written?
Just as written, yeah, we had one service disruption with the last snowstorm. Greyhound has opted to renew the Greyhound Connect for another 2 years.
Great.
And we're still looking for a one-time, full-time utility and 5 full-time driving positions.
5.
5 still.
Were
So
there a lot of retirements or
just, we're having trouble finding qualified people to want to
Okay.
work.
What's required? CDL?
Right.
CDL with the passenger and air brake endorsement. And once they pass the test,
Mhm.
we will train them to drive the bus, how to operate the bus safely. A lot of people, they say, I want to work. They come in, we put
Mhm.
time and money in it. They never come back.
My.
So,
It's the new America.
yeah, it's kind of disheartening because you put a lot of energy into everybody.
Any questions? All righty, thank you very much. Moving on to item number 9, Public Works Director Carpenter. We have 9A, an ordinance approving the purchase of real estate for community improvement. Need a motion to put that on the table, please.
So moved. Second.
Okay.
If you've seen in the packet, there is a aerial map showing the location of this. You have to scroll quite a bit to get down there.
Page 34.
There you go. Yeah, so just a small little vacant lot on the corner of Chandler and Seminary, a block to the north of the proposed, or not even proposed anymore. I'm so used to saying that, but the Carl site. And the intent behind that is not us shooting from the hip and acquiring everything that is north of Carl. We will have a plan in a 3 or 4 block area to the north of the site, so we know what to do with it, and that will hopefully be presented to the city council here, I hope within the next month or two. But the plan will show that this property is of importance to us, for hopeful redevelopment purposes, just not with a use at this time.
Any questions? Okay, roll call, please.
Alderman Wands,
Yes.
Wilson,
Yes.
O'Kane,
Yes.
Brown,
Yes.
Iverson.
Yes.
Bouchard,
Yes.
4,
Yes.
7 yes.
7 yes, thank you. 9B is an ordinance granting an easement to Ameren, Illinois Company. I need a motion to put that on the table, please. Is
So moved.
there a second?
Second.
Okay, who's,
Okay, so Ameren is looking to replace, and they currently have an underground gas regulator station nearby. They are looking to resite that somewhere above ground. The location of the proposed station would be south of the Boys and Girls Club on the south side, as near to the railroad tracks as we can possibly get it. We've worked with Ameren to basically make sure that we have room to get sidewalks and it won't interrupt any improvements that we're planning to do to the park. You know, in the future, they've agreed to pay for landscaping around the fencing and use black chain link fencing and things like that to work with us. But we recognize while none of us really want a gas regulator station next to us or in a park or whatever, they've worked with us to cite it as unobtrusively as we can, and it's definitely something that's essential to, you know, public utilities here in our community. So.
Alderman O'Kane?
It'll be back far enough that when you pull out of the park, it won't be in sight wise.
Yeah, so it'll be if you pull in off of Griffin Street, it will be on the south side of that entrance, not quite to the first parking space. So it will be near the entrance there.
I'm just more worried about pulling out onto Griffin.
Oh no, yeah, it'll be. I don't remember the exact distance, but it'll be well off,
Back
well
there.
out of the way. Yep,
Okay, so it wouldn't have any traffic obstruction.
Right.
yep, no problem there.
Okay, any other questions? Okay, roll call, please.
Alderman Wilson,
Yes.
O'Kane,
Yes.
Brown,
Yes.
Iverson.
Yes.
Bouchard,
Yes.
Wands,
Yes.
4,
Yes,
7 yes.
thank you. 9C is a resolution authorizing a budget amendment for the fiscal year 21-22 capital improvements Fund 302 budget. Need a motion to put that on the table, please.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, this will go in hand with 9D. We need to transfer this money. We're going to need to buy new zero-turn mowers this year to mow all the empty lots that we're tasked with mowing, as well as some of the right-of-ways here in town.
Okay, questions? I apologize, Carl. I didn't realize those two were together.
Yeah.
Has the city owned that brand before?
No, this is sold by Ron Equipment, as you'll see in 9D.
Well, it's all.
Because Ron usually, I'm trying to think what
Yeah.
they usually carries it.
Who does?
What's the brand they also carry here?
Hustler. They've
Hustler,
got
yeah.
Hustler as well.
Okay.
And they're a good company, local. Okay, questions? Okay, roll call, please.
Alderman O'Kane,
Yes.
Brown,
Yes.
Iverson.
Yes.
Bouchard,
Yes.
Wands.
Yes.
Wilson,
Yes.
4,
Yes,
7 yes.
7 yes, thank you. And I should have taken this together with C, but a resolution awarding the purchase of 4 Spartan zero-turn mowers. Need a motion to put that on the table, please.
So moved.
Second.
Okay.
Well,
any-
and just to let everybody know, Tracy did, we've actually got 4 quotes on this. I thought I had added that. I'll get that in for next week so that everybody can see what the quotes actually were. We sought out all different types of mowers this time. But this also is asking for permission to trade in for the old walk behind Toro mowers and one of the old Toro zero turn mowers as well. They've all seen more of their use than they're worth now.
Do these have the little deal you put behind the stand on them too, or these?
Oh, these are zero turn riding mowers.
Oh, these are riders,
Yes,
okay.
Yes.
Man, last a lot longer.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay,
Good seats on them, I hope.
Yeah, these are really heavy duty. I'm not going to get into everything with the small engine business, but the individual doing this is, the individual that created this brand of mower has created about 5 different styles of mowers for 5 different companies in the last 25 years. So this is a premier mower.
good. All right, if there's no other questions, roll call, please.
Alderman Brown,
Yes.
Iverson,
Yes.
Bouchard,
Yes.
Wands,
Yes.
Wilson,
Yes.
O'Kane,
Yes.
4,
Yes.
7 yes.
7 yes, thank you. 9E is a resolution approving a Midtown TIF RIP grant application for 711 North Gilbert Street. Need a motion to put that on the table, please.
So move.
Is there a
Second.
Okay.
Chairman, Mr. and Mrs. Hughes are here in the audience and would be
Okay.
happy to, I'm sure would be happy to answer any questions if the committee has any as well.
Where exactly is 7? Is that in the little plaza there or where?
711,
Martha's where?
711 North Gilbert.
Gilbert.
So
that's
it'd
what I'm saying.
be
Mr. and Mrs. Hughes, you're welcome
just
to
south,
come.
is it just south of Williams Street?
Oh, it is right directly across from Domino's Pizza on the. on
Okay,
North Gilbert
and that's,
Street.
you have the
Further
sign
down
up there
there.
now. I keep trying to stop and read what the sign says.
Yeah.
No, there isn't a sign right now.
Oh, there isn't? That's not that area?
Almost like a house.
Yeah, it's brick with
I
some
was driving
orange.
today and
board
looked
and
at that.
fence.
Yeah, that should be nice. Yes.
Okay. I
So
was trying to figure that out earlier.
So what's
Okay.
your studio? What is it? What is your studio? What is the business? What's this?
Grateful
studio?
Head
It's a
Studio.
salon.
We're currently a hair salon, and with the expansion, we hope
Head
to
studio,
add
okay.
more services and bring in, we would retain 2 current employees and then add 2 to 4 additional more employees as well.
See, I was reading that as a Grateful Dead studio.
I know,
was
that's what I'm
thinking
saying.
electronics.
Yeah, we're gonna do.
I wasn't
tattoos
thinking
and so
An
on.
open room, so we'll see what we do with that.
Oh, I've been somewhere in there.
It's Grateful Head, yeah.
Yeah, and it had salon in one.
Uh-huh.
I mean, idea of a future tattoo area or anything?
We
or-
actually will have 1 extra room, and we can expand that into we have a lot of different options that we can use there. Yep.
Might
Is the
think of a
parking-
spa or anything.
We'll offer, we have 2 estheticians that would be joining us if we're
Okay.
able to do this. And, we'd love to have a massage or something like that. So
I'm there.
Once we get the approval, we anticipate to advertise for another person to come in, depending on what their service might be.
Okay.
Is the parking in the rear? Is it in the back or where is
It
the parking?
is.
Because I didn't see any in the front.
There's 2 spaces on the side and then more in the back. And the one on the side is what we would turn into the handicap accessible space.
Other questions?
It's exciting for me to see young people wanting to invest in our
Absolutely.
community.
Yes.
Amen.
Thank you guys for the opportunity today. We
yes,
appreciate
thank
it.
you so much.
So I think we'll take a roll call.
Alderman Iverson,
Yes.
Bouchard,
Yes.
Wands,
Yes.
Wilson,
Yes.
O'Kane,
Yes.
Brown,
Yes.
4,
Yes,
7 yes.
7 yes. Good luck, guys, and maybe we can get a tour once it's all finished. And
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Thank you guys very much.
So just so you'll know, next week it will come before the full city council for a final vote, at which time it would be approved, hopefully be approved.
Thank you very much.
Right. Thank you.
Thank you.
you.
Okay, moving on to 9F, a resolution approving the payment for emergency repairs to a traffic signal cabinet at Winter Avenue and Vermilion. Need a motion to put that on the table, please.
So move.
Second.
Okay,
This is the actual cabinet that was damaged in an auto accident. The city is responsible for replacing it, and then we will be partially reimbursed by the state for this cabinet as well.
We should actually get full reimbursement if the claim goes through their insurance, which it should. So
okay.
That was my question.
That's what I
Well,
was
that's
thinking.
what- about
So
the
it's us paying and then
insurance?
then getting reimbursed,
Yeah.
basically. So, Okay, any other questions? Roll call, please.
Alderman Pashard,
Yes.
Wands,
Yes.
Wilson,
Yes.
O'Kane,
Yes.
Brown,
Yes.
Iverson.
Yes.
4,
Yes.
7 yes.
7 yes, thank you. 9G is a resolution appropriating MFT funds and approving an engineering agreement for the improvement of William Street from Bowman Avenue to State Street. Need a motion to put that on the table,
So
please.
move.
Second.
Okay,
That's Sam.
that's Sam.
Yeah, I guess basically, like it says, the project, this was actually a project that the city of Danville submitted to the Danville Area Transportation Study with a couple others for review and possible selection for basically use of our federal dollars that go through Danville Area Transportation Study. This was the selected project. The engineering agreement is for $140,000 to go through the design phase of the project. We would be anticipating bidding it no later than next June, with hopefully construction in the fall of that. It's possible, depending on the number of working days, that it could carry over. And then our anticipated percentage of the construction cost is $238,000 on top of that. So we generally will appropriate a little bit more than what these say in case there's some changes and things like that. But anyway, the overall project scope, we believe it will be, some patching of the concrete surfaces that are there, milling of the currently asphalt pavement, and then overlay with asphalt of that entire, section at this point. So
Good luck where the road turns there.
yeah, there's
It'll be
some,
a one big patch.
yeah, that's, I think it's right now it's one big pothole patch basically that's out there. So we'll see what we find. And I didn't mention, but we will also be doing curb ramps at the intersections to upgrade those to ADA standards as well. So
One of the really nice things about this project is it affects more than one ward.
Yes,
So
that's
it's
gonna say,
fantastic.
part of it's in my ward.
Yeah,
So I'm
and
happy
then
to
It
see
goes from
forwards
one
the
to
rest, so.
one, 3, and 4.
Yeah.
Mhm. So,
Okay, roll call, please.
Alderman Wands,
Yes.
Wilson,
Yes.
O'Kane,
Yes.
Brown,
yes.
Iverson.
Yes.
Bashard,
Yes.
4,
Yes.
7 yes.
7 yes, thank you. 9H is a resolution appropriating MFT funds for the maintenance of streets. Need a motion and a second, please.
So move. Second.
okay, so for those of you that aren't familiar, this is kind of an annual process. We appropriate funds for roadway maintenance projects. Those would include crack sealing, striping, mill and overlay, oil and chip. This year we're going to do Cape Seal, which is an oil and chip, and then another like a slurry seal over the top of it. So anyway, we're appropriating just under $3 million. We're still putting together the final plans for those, and we will go out to bid in the coming month and a half and see how hopefully those shake out and come in on budget. The oil prices, as Eric reminds me daily, are not looking real good right now and heavily affect our construction costs. So we'll see how that plays out. This is a lot larger program than what we historically do. Part of that is there's, some MFT funds that were set aside for other large projects that, haven't moved forward in the past. And I would like to say that this is probably a lot closer to what we should be spending to keep up with stuff in the long term. You'll see a lot of work get done this year with these funds.
Okay.
Sam, did you tell me 20%?
Yeah,
roughly?
basically, and I was adding that up before this, between the maintenance projects and then the other reconstruction projects, we are anticipating touching 21.7% of our roads this year, which, that seems like a ton, and it is a ton. The scary thing is I think 30% is probably closer to where we should be, but this is going to look, you'll notice, and you may begrudge us as we do it, but it'll be worth it.
So when you get complaints about it taking forever to get anywhere, just remind them that they complained to us about the roads and we're doing something about it. So
Any striping included?
There is a lot of striping. That's going to be our Cape Seal project. Is I'll always call it fancy oil and chip, I guess, because it's got another coat on top that makes it a little less rough. There's going to be work to that extent done on a lot of the arterial routes like Voorhees Street, Lynch Road. Not Southgate, but Logan Avenue, goodness, but there's Townway, there's roads all over the place that you're gonna see that. There's a lot of striping on those corridors, and we did add some other areas that striping needs to take place anyway. So if you have particular requests, we've tried to do an inventory of like our striping needs. There's little sections that we do miss because we don't know, but feel free to touch base if you have specific concerns, and we can make sure we include it. So
Logan Avenue.
yeah, Logan's on there. So
Thank you very much. Okay, any other questions? Roll call, please.
Alderman Wilson,
Yes.
O'Kane,
Yes.
Brown,
Yes.
Iverson,
Yes.
Bouchard,
Yes.
Wands,
Yes.
4,
Yes.
7 yes.
7 yes, thank you. 9I is a resolution appropriating MFT funds for the reconstruction of Lafayette, Robinson, and North Streets. Need a motion to put that on the table, please.
So moved. Second.
okay, so this project is a like kind of appropriating dollars for construction. As the follow-up, a while back, we appropriated funds for design of improvements to various roads around the Carl development that included Madison, Lafayette, Robinson, North, and South Logan. Well, I guess it's all North Logan. Sorry, it's not South Logan. The south side of Logan, kind of. We'll be awarding Madison Street here in a minute. This is the second phase of 3, and Logan Avenue would be a later one. So we would anticipate bidding this here in the next probably month, putting it out to bid and awarding construction this year with the goal of being substantially complete by the end of the calendar year, so that we don't have, a big mess on our hands when Carl's trying to do a grand opening. So,
And I can't remember, Mayor, was Lafayette Street the one the library was concerned about?
Yes, sir.
yeah,
Is that going to stay two-way or it's going to remain one-way?
it's going to be basically like it was before. It's two-way to a point, and then it'll be choked down so that Carl traffic would not exit out
Okay.
to Route 1.
So there'll still be access to the museum, easy.
I mean, it's
Easy as it was.
yeah, yes, correct.
Not really.
They're
easy at
they're not
all.
perfectly happy with this, but I think we've all come to terms with the situation. So,
Okay. Any questions? Roll call, please.
Alderman O'Kane,
Yes.
Brown,
Yes.
Iverson,
Yes.
Bouchard,
Yes.
Wands,
Yes.
Wilson,
Yes.
4,
Yes.
7 yes.
7 yes, thank you. 9J is a resolution awarding of a contract for the CDBG Housing Rehab Project at 1502 East Main Street. Need a motion to put that on the table.
So moved.
Second.
Okay.
Yeah, this is a rare one. So this house is on Tennessee and Maine. And when we initially did the write-up for this property, it was roughly 6 to 8 months ago. And the cost of plywood has skyrocketed to where our formal bid process for CDBG home rehabilitations came up. It was about $10,000 over what our initial write-up was. And then our second bid for this property was $10,000 more than what you see on this resolution. So that's the reason it's here tonight. Typically, we like to keep these bids and write-ups initially under $20,000 so we can spread the wealth of the program. But this applicant had went through the entire application process, qualified, spent a lot of time. We went out to bid for it, and that's why it's here tonight.
And those of you who are old enough to remember, this is the old cake cottage.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, right on the corner. Yep. They had the best cakes.
That's my aunt and uncle on that.
Oh,
Okay.
really? Boy, they did the best cakes.
Do you have the recipes?
Right.
Do you have the recipes?
Sam just
Carl told
asked
me
if
you don't
want to
you
know.
don't really
That's all
want to
I'm
know
gonna
what
tell
Carl
you.
put in the
You
cake.
don't want to know.
Just remember it as it was.
Okay. See no further discussion. Roll call, please.
Alderman Brown,
Yes.
Iverson,
Yes.
Bouchard,
Yes.
Wands,
Yes.
Wilson,
Yes.
O'Kane,
Yes.
4,
Yes.
7 yes.
7 yes, thank you. 9K is a resolution awarding a contract for roof wall restoration at 616 North Hazel Street. Need a motion to put that on the table, please?
So move.
Second.
Okay, this is the actual resolution that'll approve the amount of money that it's going to cost to fix 616 Hazel, as you were told about 2 months ago when this building was tore down on Vermilion Street, that it shared a connecting wall and roof with 616 Hazel. And there was, I'm not going to tell you it's damage. It's just received some issues once we tore our wall down and the roof off the other building. We had to do some emergency work on it so that it didn't dilapidate during the winter. And that's all covered into this as well. And then the amount of money will pay for the actual permanent roof and permanent wall fixtures to that property. And Owens is the contractor that was doing the tear down for us. And they sublet it, but they're also the ones that did the temporary work as well.
Questions for the director?
Whose property is it going to be? That wall that was on the old property that isn't getting torn down? Has that been worked out?
Yeah, this is owned by Dave Price, the 616 Hazel is.
But aren't you leaving the existing masonry wall up?
That wall belongs to that building,
It belonged to the,
to the Hazel Street
Building?
address. Yeah.
okay, it seems strange that,
There's some goofy stuff there anyway, Mike. Like the building's actually over a public alley, some things like that. So there's some other issues. I don't think we envision keeping that lot for the long term anyway. So
but
that situation may resolve itself in short order.
yeah, but
Yeah.
that work and everything is going to be, not going to be ours to worry about in the future. It's all
Right.
prices.
Yeah.
Okay.
Other questions? Roll call, please.
Alderman Iverson,
Yes.
Bouchard,
Yes.
Wands,
Yes.
Wilson,
Yes.
O'Kane,
Yes.
Brown,
Yes.
4,
Yes.
7 yes.
7 yes, thank you. 9L is a resolution approving a professional services agreement for various bridges and amending the fiscal year 21-22 Infrastructure Development Fund 107 budget. Need a motion to put that on the table, please.
So moved.
Second.
All right, this one's a doozy. So as you probably read in the resolution, we own 30 bridges. There are many of them that are in need of joint replacements, repairs, bearings, painting, things like that, basically require permitting and professional engineering to get those done. So Farnsworth Group is our bridge inspection firm. We work with them on a lot of our bridge projects. This project will, get us basically through the design and permitting phase on a lot of these improvements. And, I think part of the goal is we don't know how we're going to fund all the improvements yet. We can probably find a way to do some of them, but there's lots of federal transportation dollars and other grant things coming down the pipeline that we want to be prepared to go after if it's possible. And this will help get us there. I also don't want to just let these things continue to fall apart and get more and more expensive as they deteriorate. So this is we know we need to do it. It's a bit of a leap of faith in certain ways. And moving forward, the other, so there's the regular bridge maintenance things. There's also on this list, there are 3 bridges. There's a separate contract for 3 bridges that are to be removed. One of them is the pedestrian bridge in the Heights. It's not really used. It's, going to end up costing us money it costs us money every year to do inspections and things like that on it. So they would put together plans to remove that bridge. We're also looking at what it would cost to remove the former Mill Street Bridge over, that's over the river there. Somewhere along the way, that's going to, it's, in my opinion, a hazard that's been left in place for a long time. And somewhere along the way, we're going to have to deal with that thing. So we're trying to scope out what that would cost to remove that. Another bridge that's in place that was abandoned but never removed is a bridge, North Street over Stoney Creek, which is actually just to the east of Bungie there. Kind of a similar situation. So they're going to help us assess what it would cost to get those out of there.
Under President Obama's administration, you'll remember the term shovel ready was thrown around a lot. Essentially, we believe that a lot of the projects that the federal government will fund moving forward are those that are shovel ready, and these assessments will help us get to that place so that we're at a place where we could do the work if we are awarded the funds. And as Engineer Cole said, some things we will be able to and we'll have to do on our own. But our hope is that in being prepared, that we'll have an opportunity for funding to do some of the things that need done in our community without it coming directly from the people of Danville paying for it.
Right. And I guess to be clear, these aren't like imminent structural failures and things like that we're dealing with. They're items that if we don't deal with them, they will continue to cause more damage to the structures or more rust on the beams or things like that, that ultimately lead to bridge replacements rather than rehabilitation repairs. So this is a big maintenance investment versus a even bigger replacement investment down the road.
So any of the governor's monies, is this all gonna be federal? Could some be state money?
We don't, I mean, I haven't, it's right up there with ARPA on the things I haven't had time to read yet. There's a 495-page document on the infrastructure bill my understanding is there's up to 20 new discretionary grant programs that are part of this bill. Some of those are related to bridges. I don't know the specific details about what items will and won't be eligible, but we're doing our best to follow all federal guidelines and state guidelines, through this process so that given the chance, we would be eligible for those funds.
We want to be eligible for any and everything we can get, Chairman. And we do have a webinar later this month that we'll be on to kind of learn more about some of the options.
And Sam's too young to remember, but before 150 went west, you went over the Mill Street Bridge to go west. You
got to drive really fast to make it now.
I used to walk that bridge and ride my bike on it back in the toilet holes.
That's why they cut the two ends off, Mike, because they were afraid you kiddos were
This
going
is
to.
back in 1960 something or other.
We're gonna leave that alone.
Say, 65, I know it was shut because we had an office or a warehouse up underneath that bridge, and it was terrible then.
Yeah, I think there's some people that are operating warehouses down there, but they're not legal.
That's true.
Those are homes.
Okay, well, we got off the subject.
The pedestrian bridge, that's going to be the most visible to people because you see it every day as you go by. But that hasn't really been used in a long time because it used to be that was a school, which is now Crosspoint. Yeah.
Right.
So that was used by the kids to go over and go to school. But that hasn't been that way for a long time.
And it's not a handicapped accessible route. You have to walk upstairs to get over it. I spoke with one of the, gentlemen that lives next door. He said, there's one guy that walks it every day, but he can walk up to another bridge and over based on his route. He expressed more concern about he's seen kids get on top of the fencing and jump around on the thing, out there. And I did actually, Alderman Streebing, I believe, spoke with the neighborhood association out there as well and expressed that we were interested in removing it. And, they all seemed in favor and support of it. So.
Any other comments? Okay, roll call, please.
Alderman Pritchard,
Yes.
Wands,
Yes.
Wilson,
Yes.
O'Kane,
Yes.
Brown,
Yes.
Iverson.
Yes.
Four,
Yes.
7 yes.
7 yes, thank you. 9M is a resolution awarding bid 685 for Jackson and Voorhees intersection improvements and amending the fiscal year 21-22 infrastructure development fund 107 budget. Need a motion to put that on the table?
So move.
Second.
Okay, so this is the much awaited Jackson and Voorhees intersection improvement. I think this was talked about when I was here back in 2010.
Is that going to be a roundabout?
Yeah, it's a roundabout.
Yeah.
Thank you for asking that
In
question.
a roundabout way, no, it's not. But yeah, just a traditional realigned intersection. It will basically go almost from Vermilion Street to almost to Washington Street, and a little bit of legs north and south of the intersection. This is, if you remember, we got a grant for this one that we received a Rebuild Illinois Fast Track grant, just approximately $1.25 million. We will cash flow the project through the Fund 107 budget. And, pending that there's not overages or change orders, the grant would cover the entire project cost. If there are additional costs, we'd anticipate paying for those out of Fund 107 to make up the difference. So.
And all the property's been purchased. I mean, the house on the
Yes.
corner, everything's been.
Yep, we own 2 of the corners. We obtained permanent easement on the other corner, and then there's some temporary easements to reconstruct some steps and sidewalk work and things like that. So,
Will that basically shut that street down for summer or what?
Well, I'm not going that way. I'll tell you that much. But it's not going to be officially closed down. The north and south legs will be closed down. Voorhees Street, we're requiring to be staged so that traffic can flow, through there. It may just be one lane at a time. But it's required to be staged. That could look at a couple different ways depending on how the contractor wants to do it. So
Forewarning people.
yeah. I think my preference is that I'm sure it'll get shut down to some extent when school's still in, and the buses will not like that. That's my biggest concern, but I think it's all workable. It's kind of one of the costs of progress, I guess. So
Gonna have to do it.
Yep.
Chairman, I just want to congratulate Engineer Cole. This was something that we found out about very last minute. He had a ton of stuff, and I said, Sam, I can't write this because it's too technical, right? Can you? And he pulled it together, and we got it. So, I mean, that's a long-term problem that, he was able to pull outside resources to help us address.
Good.
So thanks, Sam.
Any other questions, comments? Okay, roll call, please.
Alderman Wands?
Yes.
Wilson?
Yes.
O'Kane?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Iverson?
Yes.
Bouchard?
Yes.
4,
Yes.
7 yes.
7 yes, thank you. 9N is a resolution awarding bid number 686 for the Section Street overlay. Need a motion, please, in a
So
second.
move.
Second.
Okay, this project is Section Street from Fairchild to William Street. If you've driven the southern portion of that, you will definitely remember it. Currently, it's probably the worst street in town, or if not, it's right up there. Anyway, we knew that we needed to do something to this. Marla Sutton, one of our engineering technicians, actually put together a Tarp Grant, which is a truck access route program grant. So we will be reimbursed for $80,000 of the dollars for this that will go back into the motor fuel tax fund. And essentially we're going to be milling off the pavement that's there, doing some patching and putting 3 inches of asphalt back on the top. So the humor of putting an asphalt job next to the concrete plant is not lost on me, but that's just the way it is. So.
Well, Ward 1 thanks you. We thank you.
That used to be a very busy corridor. Oh my gosh, all the Trail Field and F.
I spent a lot of my life going up and down that street.
It still is when there are trains and such.
Mhm. Yeah, they have what bumper works were in there for a while too.
Mhm.
Well,
Okay,
lots of motors
any
in
other
there.
questions? Roll call, please.
Alderman Wilson?
Yes.
O'Kane?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Iverson?
Yes.
Bouchard?
Yes.
Wands?
Yes.
4,
Yes.
7 yes.
7 yes, thank you. 9O is a resolution awarding bid 687 for the reconstruction of Madison Street from Chandler to Robinson. Need a motion to put that on the table, please.
So move.
Second.
Okay, so this project is reconstructing, well, just like I said, Madison Street from Chandler to Robinson Street. You will see some language in there that basically asks for your blessing for us to basically to use the bid pricing on this project to put surface course of asphalt on the intersection just to the west. That was part of our negotiations with Carl and, getting some demolitions and some other stuff done there at that intersection and reconstructing that. As well as that, we'd like to be able to negotiate, the same type of agreement with the contractor to do some improvements on Harrison Street, just near the Carl site. There's some curb and gutter and sidewalk and asphalt work that needs to be done there. Those projects are not large enough that we would go bid them and get competitive bids on them. So with that in mind, we'd like to mobilize and use the resources that are there to construct these improvements. Usually the contractors agree favorably to that because they get more work and we get very good pricing out of that. So that's kind of a non-traditional arrangement in which I'm, asking you to waive the bid process for that and allow us to do that. But in all transparency, that's what we're trying to accomplish. So
Always cheaper when they're already there.
Yep.
Chairman, for the record, this is right in front of my house. I'm still trying to figure, I think I'm going to have to take the alley to work every day, but I just want the public to know that for transparency's sake. But
Sure.
this is the main thoroughfare coming from the south or from the west now to the hospital. So
yeah, and this will be stage constructed as well. We made commitments with Carl early on in the process that we would maintain ingress to the hospital. So there will be times where this is likely one-way westbound only during construction in case there are emergency vehicles that need to get people to the hospital. They will not be impeded. So
But it's okay to block the mayor's house, right?
Oh yeah, all you want.
Okay.
And also for the record, well, recently I had a conversation with one of the aldermen, and I don't ever ask for anything because I don't ever want people to say, oh, well, this happened because you're the mayor or you got priority over someone else. But also, I'm a citizen who's made a lot of improvements to my home. And again, that's a main thoroughfare, but you can literally see all the bricks from in the intersection. It's probably from me to Alderman Brown and this wide, you can see brick, and it's horrible coming in there. So I'm thankful as a resident to see that it's finally going to be addressed too.
Yeah.
So,
And I did. Yeah, I know. And when I brought this to the mayor, I said, Mayor, we need to do this project, as part of this. He said, you're killing me. You know what people are going to think, And he said, we really have to do this. And I said, yes, we really have to do this. So it's not anything of his doing. You can blame me for that. So
Yeah, Madison Street's going to be one of the main streets.
correct.
around
It's
here.
technically an arterial street once the reroute is done. So it's an important corridor for us.
So does this basically, when all this work is completed, pretty well finish up Madison and that area in the north side of the Carl project?
Yes, Madison Street would be completely redone from Gilbert, basically to where it converges into Logan Avenue.
I have a question. What about on there in the east of that? There's some large brick buildings there that doesn't appear that anyone's living in them. Does someone own that? Are they going to try to reconstruct this area to
we're in
improve
court.
it, or?
We're in court with them, Alderman,
Okay.
because of the code violations.
I just wonder, I was by there the other day to look at that, and I just wondered, I said, well, where are we at on that?
I do believe some of the other properties have been acquired for demolition, but
Mhm.
that's not one of them that has been able to be acquired yet.
Okay, thank you.
Other questions? Okay, roll call, please.
Alderman O'Kane,
Yes.
Brown,
Yes.
Iverson.
Yes.
Bouchard,
Yes.
Wands.
Yes.
Wilson,
Yes.
4,
Yes.
7 yes.
7 yes, thank you. 9P is a resolution awarding the contract for bid 689, construction of the Countryway Street drainage improvements of the Townway area drainage basin. Need a motion to put that on the table, please.
Second.
Yeah, say that 5 times fast, Mike. Anyway, the reason we put of the Townway area drainage basins, because this really started off as like the Townway drainage project and has really kind of shrunk down to a more specific area of concentrated problems along the railroad, behind Countryway. A lot of that was partially caused by lack of maintenance by the railroad and just general deterioration of infrastructure that we have back there already. This project will, vastly improve the drainage. It's a slight expansion of the drainage system to improve some issues. It also involves replacement of 3 very large drainage structures that we have back there that are kind of collapsing, that were original to the subdivision, which I don't know. Do you remember, Eric, do you remember when that was built roughly?
It was the late 50s, early 60s.
Okay. Yeah. So we're talking 60-plus-year-old drainage structures. Anyway, this project will, it'll make a big difference in these. And it is part of actually a project that's listed in the Stormwater Master Plan. So it's another one that we can check off the list as accomplishing there. And I will say we did get very favorable bids on this and a lot of interest in the project. So I hope that, keeps going for us. So.
In full disclosure, like the mayor just did,
Yeah.
this is in my backyard. It actually starts the next house over, the actual work. But be that as aside, before I was on the city council, we were talking to the city for a long time to get the right drainage and get everything going out there. And most people, I've put French drains in my yard. Most people in that neighborhood have put their own things in for years now, and this will be really well received.
Well, you'll remember Miss Jimson, Miss Tanisha Jimson came to us with pictures, and most of her backyard literally looked like a small pond or lake. So this will help with.
Yeah. For much of the year, you're honestly lucky to be able to mow the grass or walk through a lot of this area because of the flooding and saturate. It's just kind of a continual flow of water through these backyards.
I bet you can find crawfish back there.
Yeah, you probably could. So if we were in the right state, we might know what to do with those. But
I know.
Some of us do.
Yeah.
Yeah, Alderman Randall used to talk about that, bring up
Yeah.
quite a bit. I think it's
Yeah.
been for a long time.
I know they've been ever since, before I got here. This is probably my most frequently called about problem, I would say. So.
Good deal. All right. Roll call, please.
Alderman Brown,
Yes.
Iverson.
Yes.
Bouchard,
Yes.
Wands,
Yes.
Wilson,
Yes.
O'Kane,
Yes.
Four,
Yes.
7 yes.
7 yes, thank you. 9Q1.
And we just added this because we wanted to get to Q. We thought that was so cool.
I'm gonna say,
no.
I want to be able to say National Pollutant Discharge Elimination System and the Municipal Separate Storm Sewer Systems.
That's 4 S's. I don't think, wow. That's
Just say MS4. That's why they say that. So, anyway, this is, Eric Childers is here. He's the assistant city engineer for those of you that have not met him. Eric leads the charge for honestly most things that we do, but especially this program as well. This is a federal requirement for us that we have a pollutant discharge elimination program. And part of that is that we, hold a public, basically that there's an opportunity for people to comment publicly on whether that be stormwater issues or environmental things like that that we need to deal with. So besides, every public meeting, people have the opportunity to comment on that. They have the opportunity to comment tonight if they want to. And really, this is just to raise awareness of that, to meet our obligation, as part of that program. And I guess I'll let Eric kind of highlight just a few of the other elements maybe of this program for all of you that don't know.
Yeah, just as a refresher, as Sam stated, I oversee this program as a stormwater manager. It's one of the hats I wear. And basically, if you look at the handout that I provided there, it talks about what and why the MS or the NPDS and MS4 permit. It's a permit that's issued every 5 years from the IEPA. And it expired February of 2021, and they've yet to reissue the new one, which is very common. They're usually tardy on that. They did have a public hearing in August of 2021, so it should be forthcoming for a new permit. But we did submit last year, as we were required, what they call a notice of intent for our renewed permit for the next 5 years, and that was submitted May of last year. So we are current. But basically, the MS4 permit is a permit that allows us to discharge to the public waterways. As you know, in the city of Danville, if you go from east to west, we've got Lick Creek, we've got Cohen Creek, we got Stoney Creek, we've got Lake Vermilion, we've got North Fork, and we've also got Vermilion River. And so within those, there's a lot of other drainage ways that go into there, plus our storm sewers. We got about 150 plus miles of storm sewer. We've got thousands of inlets, and we have hundreds of outfalls that all discharge to that. So basically, this program is set up to not treat the stormwater, but to ensure that you oversee the pollutants that may get in there from runoff from parking lots and everything, development and so forth. So basically, the permit requires us to submit, like I said, a NOI, which is 6 BMPs that we follow by, which I've spelled out here, of committing to what BMPs are best management practices. So as you can see there, public education outreach, public participation involvement, illicit discharge detection and elimination, construction site runoff control, post-construction runoff control, pollution prevention, and good housekeeping. And basically, 2017, we developed a revised stormwater ordinance, and we also introduced the erosion control ordinance. And between those two things, it gives us oversight to look at developments and all our storm sewer within the city. And so each year we have measurable goals that we have to adhere to. And we, as a city, have committed to 34 BMPs, and they have measurable goals that we have to do annually to keep in compliance. And as I've stated here, examples of VMPs are maintaining the stormwater website. And as Sam mentioned, we have an annual obligation in a public forum to give the public the opportunity to give comments and to make sure everybody understands the program. But you can also go on our website, and all this information is available there. And you can also give us comments through the website as well. The other one, another example is updating our sewer mapping system. We have a technician that goes out on a daily basis right now. He's doing outfall inspections for us. He's also mapping our storm sewers. That's part of the requirements that we have. We have to make sure we know where our storm sewers are at. And he's finding a lot that we didn't know we had.
That's why you'll remember in the report it was 140 some miles, and now we're up to 150 some miles.
Yes. And growing, yeah. Regulate construction activities. And that's basically our land disturbance permits that we have. We have two types of classes, Class 1 and Class 2. Class 1 is anything that's greater than an acre. Class 2 is anything less than an acre. And if you're doing a development, you have to submit for that. And then we go out and inspect those sites to ensure that you don't have a lot of, for new construction is basically just controlling the silt runoff. Because once you strip the land, you're going to have a lot of runoff, and that is silt and debris that gets into the storm sewer system. Perform SWIP for applicable city facilities. For the Public Works facility, and then we have South Street. And we're required annually to inspect those sites so that we are compliant. Not only does the public have to do SWIPs, we as a city also have to do SWIPs on our sites as well. And SWIP is an acronym for Stormwater Pollution Prevention, is basically what that stands for.
We got to have at least 3 letters that matter.
Yeah, as Sam and I joke all the time, we engineers like acronyms. The education of personnel and public, the education of personnel and public of stormwater pollution. And then street sweeping and maintenance, good housekeeping. You know, operations goes around and sweeps constantly, you know, especially in the fall and the spring months. So those are just examples of the 34 that we do. So that's basically the program in a nutshell. And we are in compliant. We were audited a couple years ago and by the Champaign office, and they usually get around to you about every 5-6 years. So yeah, they're spread pretty thin. So
Yeah, they audited us right before I left the city years ago, and they audited us right after I got back. So,
So
I don't
you're
know what the
problem.
deal is there, but
I would take any questions if anybody's got any questions.
All right. Thank you,
All right,
Eric, for all
thank
you
you.
do. Okay, moving on to item number 10, items information. Anybody have items information?
Just one. Just an FYI, I will be bringing a resolution to next Tuesday city council meeting. Yesterday, the Illinois Housing and Development Authority submitted me over several legal documents and notified the city of Danville that the prior APP, abandoned property program, that was considered unconstitutional source of funding for their program. The remaining funds will be transferred over into what we've already had, which is the Stronger Communities program. We have a remaining of $18,000 and some change. But they followed the email with, oh, by the way, you need to have this done pronto. So with the mayor and Mike's blessing, I plan to bring that on Tuesday, that resolution to accept those funds.
Yeah, Logan emailed the mayor and I.
Yeah.
We can't lose that. It's not a lot of money, but we don't want to lose it.
No, don't want to start that stuff.
It'll just go to the local.
Two houses. So
I have a question directed to any of you guys over here. What about the housing authority for the demolition at Fair Oaks? Will this complete the demolition out there? Do you know, or they have more to do? Because last week it was in the newspaper, I think, that they were
The ones they're currently working on are all they have planned for this round, yes.
this round. Okay.
I think
We-
there's 5
we-
in there, Carl. 5 they're taking down.
oh no.
Oh,
Jim, there
no,
are
there's like,
14.
yeah.
14 total,
The
right?
100 with 102 apartments.
Yeah, and they've actually, looked like they tore 2 more down today, so they've already got 4 to the ground. two of them look like they're completely loaded out. So
Alderman Brown, it's my understanding from speaking with Director Vinson that this would conclude their demolitions there.
And that takes them down to how many, 130 some units? Or is that?
I'm not sure. I know that they said about half of the buildings would be left, and we demolished 6 for them. They're demolishing another 14, so that would lead me to believe that it's around 20 buildings left.
And all
20
the
units.
charge, that's, you and I went out there and watched
Yeah.
the burn and things when they had the training.
And also we will be working with them to do some additional training out there for a couple of the buildings. And we actually get to invite the state academy over to do some
Okay.
training with our firefighters again. So this will be twice now that we've been able to be the hosts for the state training.
And I know this isn't with our department and not with the city, but as far as the empty space, there hasn't really been any final decisions made as to what they're going to do. I heard about some gardens or something like that, or are they going to, they're not going to try to replace or put anything out there at all?
No, my understanding is that it'll be primarily green space, Alderman Brown, and then they also plan to put in some more recreational opportunities for the residents. I think I heard like some basketball courts, some pavilions for like cookouts and things like that, and then also possibly some additional playground equipment, and then green space for some areas for gardens and things like that.
And I think that was part of the getting the permission to take them down because they were going to keep it green and not, repopulate in a condensed area. So,
Mayor, where are these folks going to be relocated to? These facilities are getting tore down.
So I would have to look to give you the exact numbers. Director Vinson did share them with me. I want to say around a third of the folks moved out of Vermilion, ported out of Vermilion County. Then everyone else who was left, the vast majority of them moved to other public housing either to other apartments or other
Section 8 in residential.
well to other tenant-based housing. So either buildings like Beeler Terrace or places like that, and then the remainder received vouchers for Section 8 to live in homes.
and that's what, I mean, overwhelmingly, a lot of people choose to get their voucher and go back to Chicago. Because they can get it here as long as the Chicago Housing Authority accepts it, then they can go back.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, other questions? Committee members' comments? Anybody else?
Tonight, I think is a perfect example. People say, how come city government costs so much money? Look at the things that we've talked about today. And as you know, I've been one of the ones who occasionally raises flags about more charges and more taxes. But just look at the amount of work that's been put together by our staff, the things that haven't been done for years, and now they're going to fix them up, the things that are looking ahead for years so it doesn't get bad. Looking at tonight's stuff, I've got to say thank you for the work they're done. And I look forward to it. It's going to cost money, but it's going to make things better too. Things aren't cheap to fix streets and sewers and all that type of activities. So thanks, folks.
And you heard Logan say how much plywood was gone up.
Yeah.
How many times now in the last 2 years? My gosh.
And we are working on and hope to have to you at some point this year, Vice Mayor and Alderman, more of a 3 to 5 year plan. We're hoping to get to a 5-year plan. We've asked all the department and division heads to submit their capital needs so that we can we have that with our sewers now. We need to add in our roads, bridges, all the other assets we have. So we're working on it. But the toughest challenge is you have to assess what you have. And as these gentlemen have told you tonight, sometimes we don't even know fully what we have. So we need to have that full picture so that we can tell you all and the community what it is that we need to do and what we can expect moving forward. So, but we're working on it. I think now also, I've told you we've been able to hire 2 additional engineers finally. So we will have more help so that we can make some more progress for our people.
You want everybody to live in Danville, but you know what? We had to go outside our 5-mile radius to be able to get people to apply and be hired. So that's helped tremendously. I know engineering's been down for years and years and years on staff. So, Alderman Pickering, do you have anything? This saw you sitting over there. Yeah.
Just want to remind everyone that we have that Danville Development has their suitability hearing for the casino on Thursday. That has been officially posted to the IGB website. So I'm hoping to have great news to share with you all next Tuesday. Have some, well, as soon as I can, we'll be able to hopefully announce a groundbreaking that'll be sooner than folks hope or expected. And also have a number of other projects for the community that are very exciting that we'll be bringing before you soon. People always say restaurants. We're going to be getting some more restaurants, which is good.
I know I heard you mention about Turk Furniture Building. Did you say something there?
Yes, ma'am. The folks who have acquired that were over there measuring, and we expect that that's where at least 2 of our new restaurants will go.
Be great for the Fisher.
I was asked about that.
Yeah, for sure.
Mayor, is that link going to be shared, or is it just on theirs?
I can copy it and send it out to you all if you'd like.
There was a link in the one thing that you sent earlier this.
Well, I
week.
don't know if it's a live, if
Yeah,
you can
I was
actually
gonna
live
ask us
stream
the
it.
live
Or,
link or
You
not.
you can live stream it. The meeting starts at 9:00. They have closed session first. They anticipate it usually takes an hour, maybe a little bit more. So I would say if you wanted to be safe, I would be on there by 9:45 at the latest. We are the first on there, and you'll get to see at that time the videos that they've put together, and they'll of course answer questions of the committee, and then hopefully we'll hear 7 yeses.
Mayor, we're probably the only license being heard that day for a casino.
I believe so.
Yeah.
There are
So we'll be
other.
the first in the state to be heard
Thursday?
Thursday.
No, we'll be second.
Second.
Chairman. Rockford is.
Oh, Rockford, that's right. Okay, anybody else have anything?
Mayor, I heard you in your conversation with the radio station the other day, and I'd been wanting to say something about the riverfront, and you mentioned that. Is there any plans? I know we got a lot going on. That's probably the least of our worries right now is riverfront, but is there anything in the making with something like that?
Do you want to touch on it? Or?
Well, we do have, Sam, do you want to talk to him a little bit about the study we have?
Yeah, I'll
underway?
just say, so kind of in the background right now, we have a study. We got a study for everything. If there's a lot going on that people don't know about, I can't hardly keep up with it. But
Well, let me say this before
it's-
Sam goes on. People, I'll be honest. I used to be one of those aldermen, and I used to be like, goodness, we're studying to death. Why do we have to study everything? And I think you all are seeing, and I hope the public understands that because everything requires special permits. You have to get permits from the Illinois EPA, the EPA, from IDPH if you're working with people, from other entities. You have to get so many layers of approval, and there are so many things that you have to check off as having done your due diligence when you're doing these things. You have to do them all in order to be prepared. So you're
Yeah.
hearing yet another study, but if we want to
Right.
do it, and if we want to do right, and especially if we want to be eligible to get money from outside sources to help us, we have to follow certain
Yeah.
criteria.
So we're working on let's call it a study or a plan. Let's call it a plan. It's called basically our, what was it? Our West Side Trailways plan, I think is what we're calling it.
Western
And
Trailways.
it really focuses on how to connect, what we call the riverfront, there along Main Street, with the riverfront on the south side of the river there, with the Carl campus, with Ellsworth Park, with the potential for the Kickapoo Rail Trail to extend to Danville, and connect that to the Lincoln Park bike path and some of the neighborhoods. So it's really looking at how do we bring all those things together, what types of uses are synergistic with those, and really focusing on making that, a green corridor that people can enjoy and that continues to be an amenity for many, a generation at least or more. So that is in development right now. I think hopefully within the next month or two, we'll be able to roll that out publicly for comment. And the goal of that is that we would have kind of projects that we could basically go after grant funding for. They would be different types of projects. They would be able to break it down into phases and prioritize that. And we'd be able to present, where is this going to be? What might this look like? And what should it cost, to do these things? So from that, we hope to springboard into what are our priorities and how do we get them funded to get these things built. So it's one of my most exciting, one of my favorite things that I'm working on. And I look forward to rolling that out to you all. So,
And we, as the vice chairman reminded me, we do have $1 million coming from the casino when that happens, so that to help with the riverfront development. So that'll be something that's good, but we have to be ready and we have to know what we're going to try to do and how much it costs before we can go. But we also, the phased approach is important. Maybe we can't do everything that we hope to do that we want to do all at one time, but if we can do this section and then do the next section and kind of connect them. If you haven't ever had a chance to, I would really encourage you on a day that it's nice and dry and a little bit warm. For my first time ever, I parked at the parking lot that's just east of the Civic Center there. And I walked down that little road and path all the way down, and where we have phase 1 of this awesome boardwalk along the river. And it's beautiful. I mean, like, you wouldn't know that but it's actually very beautiful. And I think, as we often do, we sell ourselves short here in Danville, and it's time for us to stop doing that and to, yes, we have to address the problems. We have a lot of issues, and if we can't be Pollyanna and not look at them and not address them, right? But we also have to celebrate the things that we do have that are good, and the things that keep. It's so weird for me, but I say young people a lot now because I'm middle-aged. But, the people that are younger than me here, and to bring people that are, to bring people back to our community and bring new people to the community. And I think things like the riverfront and connecting to Kickapoo Rail Trail, making investments in our parks, making investments in our pool, those quality of life issues are the things that are going to help keep people here and bring people here.
100% agree.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, anybody else? Well, having satisfied the agenda, need a motion for adjournment, please.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? We are adjourned.
Thanks, everyone. Thanks, guys.
Now, to get on what he's talking about, he said behind the arena here to get on for that boardwalk, or
Yeah.
is that part of the Kickapoo Rail Trail or not?
No.
Where do you get on the Kickapoo?
Oh, that's over by.
Okay, so you gotta go out.